Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the live, y'all. How y'all doing? Happy Sunday. I hope everybody is doing well. So today we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you are not manifesting. I'm going to go ahead and get into it for today. We're not going to make this a long video or nothing, honestly, because I just want to talk about this. I was having a conversation with somebody about things being realized, and y'all know that's one of my favorite things, is getting in that moment where I realize, damn, this is what I manifested. And honestly, when it comes to manifestation, a lot of the times it's not like you wake up and say, oh, this is my manifestation, right? This is what I've been wanting all my life. It's more like you live your life. You don't worry about what you want. You just speak it into existence. And one day you wake up and you look around and you say, hey, that thing that I've been asking for, that thing that I've been aligning for and affirming for and praying for and all these things, I actually manifested that. You might even realize, I was having a conversation with somebody who said that they were driving their car. Shout out to my cousin because we was having this conversation. But he was just telling me how the car that he was driving, he had an image of this hanging up somewhere, the same car. And he just so happened to, rent that car. And he didn't realize this is the same car that I wanted until he was literally driving the car somewhere. So I feel like a lot of people do have that control issue, wanting to control everything, but a lot of people have worry as well. So some of those two things come together and it alters how you experience things coming to you. It also in a way constricts how things comes to you, right? So I wanted to go ahead and get into those 5 reasons because sometimes when it comes to manifestation, especially for me personally, my own personal experience, when it comes to manifestation, I've had my highs, like my highs in manifestation where I was like, oh, everything's coming, this is my year. But then I've had my lows. So I've had many experiences where many of things manifested pretty quickly. Other times where I'm like, where is it at? And there's a reason why these things didn't manifest. And I know for sure, and I wanted to share those things with you guys just in case you are wanting to bring something into fruition into your life. You want to manifest, you want to shift the lifestyle that you're living, because it's not always easy when nobody's giving you the knowledge. So that's what I'm here for. Hi Elijah, how you doing, friend? Hey y'all. So that's what we're going to go ahead and get into for today. So we can go ahead and start with the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Now, mind you, there is a few more things, but I wanted to keep it real simple for us today. I didn't want to get into too much with the conversation. But one thing that stops a lot of people from being able to manifest and bring what they want into this current reality is that they have a lot of clutter. They have things that are from 10 years ago. They have it's not just about that, but they just have physical clutter around them, right? And so that could mean like your dressers have things all around it, right? That could mean your closet has so much stuff piled up. You got piles of clothes in your closets. That could mean your refrigerator is a hell of food in your refrigerator and you're not eating that food. That could mean, how we have that junk drawer. Everybody got that junk drawer. That junk drawer is just random stuff. You have so much clutter around your home. What happens is that clutter is a physical representation of your mental clutter. So that means you have things in your mind that you are not able to see clearly. And that's what that clutter physically represents. So I always say start small. Like you don't even have to do too much. Hey Cassandra, how you doing, baby? How you been? You don't have to do too much, right? You don't have to make your life harder to manifest. You don't have to go run a 10-mile marathon to manifest what you want. That's just not what it is. Start really small. And I say start by going to that little drawer, that little junk drawer in the kitchen that everybody got, and just organizing it. That's one of the smallest things that you can do, right? You can throw away the stuff that you're no longer using. Hello, hello. You can throw away things that you're no longer using. You can organize that drawer. And that is a small physical space that will now represent your mental, right? Because everything starts mentally. And if you're not able to mentally navigate your space, how are you going to mentally navigate in here, right? So once you clean that drawer, number one, what's going to happen? You're going to have a sense of relief, right? You're going to have that sense of, oh, okay, this looks good. You're going to be proud of yourself. Yeah, you should. That little drawer, you organize that little drawer, you're going to see it's going to take you very far. I'm telling you. You're going to be proud of yourself. You're going to have a sense of relief. It's going to decrease worry, right? And all of those things free up a lot of mental space for you that you can now navigate. Now, if you want to go the extra mile, you can take that in, maybe organize your closet. You can organize your dressers. Me, I have like my makeup vanity stand, and I'll organize that. I'm also a writer as well. So if anybody else is a writer, like you avidly like to journal and stuff, sometimes you have to take all of that, all your little journals. Shoot, if you like me, you got about 10 million journals. So you can throw some old journals away. Don't get caught in the loop though, because sometimes when you get into that journal loop stuff, sometimes you start reading your old journals, you get stuck. So don't get caught in that loop. Make sure organizing your journals, throwing away papers. If you someone who hold on to a lot of paperwork in general, you just have paperwork clutter, organize it. So those are small things that you can do, and that will support you in manifesting. Now, that's just number one. So again, number one is that you just have so much clutter, and you just need that physical clutter is a direct correlation to the mental clutter. Hey, GR. So the second thing that I found personally, and again, these are all personal experiences for me. I've done these things in my life. It supports me in manifesting. So this kind of goes hand in hand with kind of what I was just saying. The first one was more like organizing. The second one is holding on to things that no longer serve you, right? So you done already organized stuff, so it helps you free up mental space. Some people hold on to shit that they ain't had to use in 10 years. It's been 10 years and you still got that, what's that thing? I don't know. What is it that you got? You tell me what you got. You need to start throwing things away, donating them, giving them away, handing them out. Don't keep stuff that's no longer serving you. The one thing that I was thinking about is like clothes, right? Number one, there are people who still have like clothes that represent emotional experiences that they had. So that could mean that it's representing maybe a graduation they attended. Maybe sometimes it's funerals that they attended. But they can't fit these clothes. They never wear these clothes. It's just sitting there taking up space. Why? Why? Right? And the thing about it that so many people forget is that physical things, sometimes it anchors you into emotional realities. So you still holding on to that outfit that you wore to your grandma's funeral. And every time you see that outfit, now you're anchored into that emotional reality. Now you're stuck in that feedback loop that's keeping you sad, grieving, or sometimes it doesn't have to just be sad. Sometimes you could be reminiscing in memory, right? And they just get you stuck. That's not always a bad thing to reminisce in memory of your loved ones. I just want to make that clear for many people. But it's up to you what's serving you and what's not serving you. And a lot of times when you keep things that are very old, it's typically not serving you to go towards the direction that you're going towards, right? Oftentimes, unless maybe you're a Taurus or Cancer, oftentimes most people are moving away from their past. right? And not out of fear, not anxiety. That's just the direction that they're going. So you want to make sure that you're no longer holding on to these things that are keeping you in emotional stalemates. So sometimes these things that you're holding on to could keep you attached to old relationships, right? You still got that flower, that little fake flower from your ex-boyfriend. That was 3 years ago. Why you got that flower? Let it go. That he's not coming back. He wasn't the one for you. Okay. Now, also on top of that, you keeping all the stuff that's reminding you of your ex. Especially if you still emotionally attached to this person, right? Now you creating those same relational experiences with new partners because you don't want to leave, right? You talking about you want to manifest a boyfriend or you want to manifest a girlfriend who adores you and loves you, but you still holding on to the physical stuff that the boyfriend and girlfriend that abused you gave to you, right? Move on. Move on. So, again, this is you could physical things that you're holding on to that you need to just go ahead and donate. Sometimes, and when I tell you, sometimes it could even go as far as like technology. Like somebody done bought you an iPad, a computer. And that now every time you are looking at this, is giving you that reminder of that person. Right? Sometimes you just gonna have to get your own stuff. Now, again, you can do this by donating, throwing it away, giving it to somebody else. It's really up to you how you want to go about that. But again, you holding on to these things is not serving you. It's keeping you at a stalemate. And you want to manifest something that actually is a direct opposite experience of what you are in that feedback loop of, right? So just get rid of it. So once you make space for something, now you have the opportunity for it to come in. So go ahead and start getting rid of stuff that's no longer serving you, because now once you get rid of that, you now have the space for whatever you're wanting to manifest to come into fruition. Okay. And sometimes, and I'm not saying that just because you don't get rid of this stuff that things won't manifest. Things will manifest. But it's about your capability to contain your manifestation. I'm never going to tell you that what you want is never going to manifest. Like, people win a lottery and win every day. But are they a container to maintain that lifestyle that comes with being a multimillionaire? Well, if they don't have that space, guess what's going to happen? That they're going to find ways to get rid of what they cannot contain. And that's what often happens with people who are lottery winners, is that they'll win so much money, and then guess what? Where does that money go? It disappears. It slips out of their hands. They spend it on things, and then like 5-6 years later, they'll never have that money because they did not create a container to maintain what they're manifesting. So that was number 2. This is one that I had to learn personally. This number 3. 2025 was my year to learn this personally. The third reason why what you're wanting is not manifesting is because, quite literally, you have too much stuff going on. So you can kind of see the theme within this. Things sometimes are not manifesting because you don't have the system, the structure, and the space for them. You can see a theme, right? And in order to do this, you have to create a system, structure, and space. And that's why they say preparation. You got to prepare for what you want. Anywho, so the third reason why it's most likely very difficult for you to manifest is because you have too much stuff going on. Way too much. You got a busy schedule. You have too many people that you got to interact with, right? You have too many responsibilities. You have too much stuff going on, quite literally. Your schedule is jam-packed, and you are probably not dedicating some of that time to manifesting, to your spiritual needs, to your emotional needs. You're just very focused on, I got to get this done, I got to get this done, I got to get this done, I got to go here, I got to go there. At 2 o'clock, this is happening. At 5 o'clock, this is happening. I got to pick the kids up at 8. That's how it be. So now you're no longer focused on the direction that you're going. You're stuck in this moment of, I have to do this right now. So, sometimes we have to clear space and time for us to dedicate to visualizing and creating the direction in the container that we were just talking about of where you're wanting to go, what you're wanting to manifest, right? If you're not making that time to do it, baby, even if it do come in, how are you going to manage it? How? You know? So you have to remember that sometimes our life can be so full that it completely takes away our ability to bring in our desires, right? So take some time away to really focus on where you're going, what you want for yourself, and doing the spiritual needs, whether that's you praying, whether that's you journaling, whether that's just you just doing breathing, chanting, whatever spiritual activities that you do. You need time to come back to self, sit with yourself, and really focus on the direction that you're going, the things that you're wanting, and making space for it. Literally, right? And yeah, again, for me, I've had to learn that personally with me having such a busy schedule in 2025, baby. I used to be like, why is it so hard for me to manifest? This is, and mind you, this is what I'm saying out loud. This is, I'm in a feedback loop of, it's difficult for me to manifest. What is it? And for me personally, I had to sit with myself and say, baby, there's a few reasons. You're not consistent and you're manifesting this, right? You don't have space. You're not dedicating time, to doing this as much as you want to. It's more of a, okay, let me rush all this in this one moment, and then I forget every other day, right? So again, I'm not saying that things will never manifest if you don't do this, but it's all about creating a container for maintaining the things that you're wanting to bring into your lifestyle, okay? So, you got to process these things. That's what those times will be for, is processing, and directing and visualizing if you're wanting to manifest more for yourself, especially in the year of 2026, which is the year of things coming into fruition, things being realized, right? Closing chapters to begin something new. So it's not all about let me do this, and this. It's about let me make sure that I'm creating the space for what I want in my life consistently, right? So this number 4. Ooh, some of y'all need to hear this. Some of y'all need to hear this. Number 4, this is the 4th reason why it's difficult for you to manifest. Why things are not manifesting for you in this lifetime, okay? The 4th reason why things are not manifesting is because, quite literally, your environment is not the environment for it to manifest. It's not aligned with what you're manifesting. Some people have to know that you have to change your environment in order for some of the things that you want to manifest, right? So you say you want to be super rich, you want to have a lot of money, but guess what? Your environment is poverty. You quite literally go outside and see trash everywhere. Hello, you see trash everywhere. You see ratchetness, ghetto-ness. You go outside, this bitch is walking out with bonnets on their head at the grocery store. That's the environment that you're in. Okay, I don't know. It's not the environment that's gonna manifest wealth. Okay, I'm being funny with the bonnets because don't play with me. People who be walking out, because I've done it before, I was stressed out. When I walked outside with a bonnet, I was stressed out, baby. It'd be people who stressed out, right? So sometimes we talk a lot. I talk a lot about like cells and like epigenetics and all those things, and quite literally, science-wise, some cells express different characters depending on the environment that they're in. So that relates directly to a human. Sometimes you're not going to be able to express certain things, manifest certain things because of the environment that you're in. That environment does not allow you to be or do those things. So again, we talking about poverty, right? And wealth and all those things, right? You make a lot of money. Let's say you become rich. You're driving around in a BMW. I don't know what's some other cars. I'm not a car person, so you driving around in one of them big fancy cars, right? You driving around in the hood. Do you think that that's going to be aligned with you? I mean, sometimes that can mean you might feel uncomfortable because everybody else in your neighborhood has raggedy cars or they're struggling to make their car notes, right? So, some people can make it happen. Some people stay in the hood, they make their money, they stay in the hood. But for most people, guess what they do? They become more wealthier and they move to a better environment. So you have to do that. And sometimes you have to put yourself out there before you get the wealth. I'm not saying go live beyond your means, but I'm saying find ways to do those things. Sometimes that can mean you level down and you just buy a room in a wealthy neighborhood, right? You just rent out a room, right? So you have to put yourself in environments that are conducive to who you are and what the lifestyle that you want to manifest for yourself. Because manifestation is not always a one and done thing. We're not just trying to manifest $100,000 and going about our day. Manifestation is a lifestyle experience. You're going to manifest things that are going to be maintained for the rest of your life, so you don't have to keep manifesting. You shouldn't have to feel like you have to keep manifesting things all the time, like in a rushed or hurried spirit, right? So you want to make sure that you have a structured and stable identity. Make sure you're in an environment that allows you to be and do so, okay? So that's one thing that a lot of people forget when it comes to manifesting, because your surroundings matter. What you surround yourself by. I was just having a conversation with somebody else about worthiness, right? What was they saying? I think we were talking about dating and stuff like that, and they were talking about how people ask them like, "Oh, how do you get a man to treat you so well?" And we were just having that conversation like, "Bitch, you just be the girl, be that girl. Like, what are you talking about?" But in all actuality, I was telling her sometimes your environment makes you feel a certain level of worthiness. So if you go outside and you are associating your environment with unworthiness, then guess what? A plus B equals C. You are also, because you're surrounding yourself in that environment, you're going to subconsciously feel that sense of unworthiness because that's what you're constantly thinking about. So you want to make sure that even when I say environment, I'm not just talking about you go outside. Those people, you gonna be like the 5 people you're around. The people that you're around, you want to have better relationships, but all your girlfriends have poor relationships that they stay in. On top of that, they're staying in these poor relationships, and I'm not talking about poor financially. I'm talking about the level of how they communicate, how they interact with each other, how they love each other. It's a poor level. But you want more for yourself, but you keep going back to these people who are not doing so for themselves. So guess what? Now you are subconsciously engaging with that, taking that, and that's your level of worth. So you have to remember to make sure that you move to different environments, different people. Sometimes that can mean you have to move different states. Quite literally, you have to move to a different state in order for you to experience a new level of satisfaction in your life that you would have never experienced living in your prior states, right? And I don't want to get too deep into the conversation with it, but quite literally, sometimes that's just what it is. You move to a better neighborhood, sometimes your nervous system relaxes as well, which once your nervous system relaxes, the ease and manifestation comes a lot quicker, right? You move to a better job. Oh my God, I worked at this one job. I used to hate going there. I made so much money though. When I tell you I make so much money, I was making like $300-$400 a night, right? I was making a lot of money, right? But I would go there and I did not like the people who I worked with. They did not like me either. You want to know why? Because I didn't deal with the bullshit. I'm not going out to hang out with y'all. I don't want to hang out with y'all on the breaks. I'd rather sit by myself. I've always been a type of person. I would rather sit by myself than hang out with bitches I don't like. Right? So that environment, even though I made lots of money, I had to leave. I chose my peace, my sanity over being in an environment that I didn't like that made me a lot of money. Right? So if you feel like even at work that your work environment is not good for you in the direction that you're moving to, yeah, you're gonna have to look for a new job. Manifest that new job, baby. Start manifesting it. Right? We're gonna have to talk about how to manifest a job. We're gonna talk about that one day. I manifested I think all of my most recent jobs, I manifested them for sure. So I would love to talk about that. Maybe that's what I'll talk about on the next live, is how to manifest a job. Okay, we'll think about it. So make sure that you are peeping your surroundings, because you're going to correlate your surroundings to yourself. So this is the 5th reason why you're not manifesting. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready for the 5th reason? Again, these are personal experiences. I remember when I first got into manifestation, I used to say I wanted a Jeep. Thank you, JR. I used to be like, I want a Jeep, which was, I never really wanted a Jeep now. Like, I don't want a Jeep. But, like, I used to want a Jeep. And I remember I used to be like, I want a Jeep, I'm going to manifest a Jeep. And it never manifested. Never got that Jeep, you know? No, it's never, I didn't really want a Jeep that bad. But somebody asked me one time, like, what happened to you manifesting a Jeep? To me, it felt like they was being shady when they asked me that question, like, what happened to you manifesting a Jeep? And I was like, you know what was the problem? I was never consistent with it, right? And I didn't really want it. I really wasn't that confident in it either, right? So this is kind of the same thing, number 5. The 5th reason why a lot of people are not manifesting is because you're telling everybody and you are not confident in it. So there's been a lot of things that I've done without telling anybody until it came. I've moved to a completely different state and nobody knew I was really moving. I think only like one person knew that I was moving, for real, maybe like 2, because they was there alongside the journey. But I moved to a completely different state and up and was like, hey, y'all, bye. Everybody's like, you moving? Yep, I'm moving. Nobody knew. Nobody has to know. Because why? What reason? What are y'all going to do to support me? You know? And a lot of times people are telling people what they want to manifest. They have no confidence in it. So then you're seeking validation from these people. Quite literally, you're seeking validation and they're not validating you. Sometimes people be trying to tell people what they want, and guess what? Those people, and they don't always do it on purpose, but they come back and instill worry and fear into them. They're like, oh, I want to get me that new Jeep, right? Exactly. Hey, Rooster. They like, I want to give me that new Jeep. That Grand Cherokee. I think that's a Jeep brand, right? That Grand Cherokee. And they gonna be like, how you gonna afford that? Did you just hear they did a recall on that car? Did what you gonna do? What you need all that space for? Because I want it. Because I want it. Like, what do you mean? I want that car. So, you know, a lot of times other people can instill doubt. You know, some people are seeking validation from these people, but instead what they don't get validation, what they'll get is doubt, worry, and fear. Like, even when I was moving here, people would have been like, well, what you gonna do? How you gonna survive? I moved to where I moved without a job. I mean, thank God I got a degree. All right. But I moved to where I moved with some savings, no job. And I had to make it work for a little bit. It wasn't too bad. But I had people in my ear talking about, just move back home. I don't want to do that. Never doing that. There are people, your mama might be like, just move back in with me. No, thank you. Somebody's going to worry about you. Somebody's going to have fear for you. if you are constantly speaking about the things that you want, especially if they've never experienced that. They've never experienced what you want in this lifetime. All they know is fear and worry. And so they might love you, they might care about you and want the best for you. But what they're going to do oftentimes is they're going to put that onto you. And now your container for your manifestation is filled with piss water, quite literally, because you opened up your container for everybody else to have a suggestion, an opinion, and beliefs that, what are they for? Now, I want to make sure I say this part because I don't want people to ever think that you should never tell people about what you want, right? I want people to be stone cold confident about what they want before they just speak their mind. Because the fun fact about it is that sometimes people will be the way in which your manifestation comes in, right? So you might be like, oh, I'm going to do a community gathering, right? Now, before, when you were not confident, you said, I'm going to do a community gathering. Those warriors, those worry warts, they're going to be like, how you going to do that? What if this happened? What if this happened? Oh, you remember that one community gathering that went downhill? That's what they're going to do. But once you get confident in yourself to say, this is what I'm doing, no ends, ifs, or buts about it. I don't care what nobody says. Actually, my container, I might have said that, but my container is closed for any extra opinions. Who cares what you say? Right? Now you sitting up here and you're telling people about what you're going to do. Guess what? Now people are coming in and they're being like, oh, I actually know somebody who rents out space. They'll give you a space at a good price. Oh, boom. And guess what? Now these people are the way for your manifestation to come in. Because you already are aligned to that. You no longer have worry, fear, or doubt in yourself. All you have is a stone cold belief that what you want has the ability to come into fruition, whether you know how it will or not. Hello, hello. So you have to get confident in your manifestations, what you want in this lifetime, before you just let everybody else have an opinion about it. Right? You cannot seek validation from people, because how do you know that what they're saying is going to be what you need? You have to validate yourself first. Get secure and stable in your identity, what you desire, what you want to manifest. You have to get very secure and stable in that first before you allow anybody else to come in, right? Because you could feel like your life is a house of cards, right? Or you could feel like your home is a house of bricks. And that lack of confidence is that lack of cards home, where anybody can come in and blow it away, like the wolf and the three little pigs come and blow it away. And now you just sitting there stuck, like, all of my desires, all of my wants, look, they're just blown away. Versus you have that home of bricks, somebody come blow it away, they gonna need a lot to blow that away, baby. So make sure you get your confidence level very high before you just start announcing what you're manifesting. It doesn't have to be delusion. I'm not one of those people who's gonna speak on and say, oh, you have to be delusional to manifest. It's confidence. Delusion is not what it is. It's confidence. Confidence. Confidence is knowing something is possible. And I always say this when it comes to confidence. You walk into your home every single day. How do you know that the floor in your home is not going to fall in? That's confidence. It's an unspoken confidence that people don't speak about. A lot of people, they be like, I'm not confident, I'm not confident. Find where you're confident at. That's how you manifest. You focus on what you already have. That's a form of gratitude as well. That's how you manifest. You focus on what you already have, what's already there. People think they're not confident, but baby, well, you walk in that house every day and you don't ever worry about that floor caving in. Why? Because you've had a consistent experience where you were able to walk across the flooring in your home without any issues. So now you don't worry about it. It's an unspoken confidence, right? So, if you are seeking to improve your own personal confidence, just focus on what you already have. And we're not going to get too deep in that conversation because I don't really want to be on the live all day. I wanted to make this quick. So just focus on what you're already confident in, what you already expect to work out for you. Sometimes that takes sitting down for a minute, because if you don't think about it, that's just what it is. You just don't think about it. And it's going to be sometimes take you a little bit more long. It's going to take you longer for you to remember what you're confident in, especially if it's so unspoken, like the example I just gave you, right? So, those are the 5 reasons a lot of people are not manifesting. And from my own personal experience, why I realized I wasn't manifesting is because I had too much clutter, too much stuff going on, too busy, right? And the thing about it is that they all kind of, again, once, like I said earlier, they go hand in hand, about basically creating a space for your things to manifest. The first thing that I'm visualizing in my mind is a trophy case. People buy trophy cases for what reason? What if you don't have any trophies? What would be the reason why you buy a trophy case? It's because you have a internal knowing that trophies are going to go right here. You might not know where they're going to come from. You might. If you play sports, you might know. But somebody's going to buy that trophy case and not have any trophies. And then a year later, that trophy case is going to be filled with trophies, right? So that's just how life works. Create a container, make space for it in your life, practice makes perfect, and be at peace with it, because eventually things are going to come and become aligned. And like the earlier like the earlier example that I gave you about how most things are not realized until you're in that moment of experiencing it. So we quite literally shouldn't be worrying about, well, how's it going to manifest? How's it going to manifest? Because even as you're going about getting most of the things, manifestation can be so natural that you won't even realize you won't even realize that what you're experiencing is a product of your manifestations until you're experiencing it. So we got to stop worrying about it and just create space, create a container, and prepare ourselves for what we want, because eventually that will be filled, right? So that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. You said, and sometimes it's the positive people only you should tell. People will aid and assist you without negative statements. Exactly. Hey John, how you been? So do you guys feel like y'all ever, like any of these things that I told you guys about were a reason that's blocking your ability to manifest? Because I think a lot about some of the things that I want to manifest, and I sit back and be like, I wasted so much time not getting clear. I mean, if you read the book, if you read You Are Programmed, it tells you exactly how to manifest. I don't talk about this exactly in the book though, but if you read You Are Programmed, it gives you those 4 steps to the reason, you good, John. It gives you those 4 steps to the reason how to manifest. If you want to get the book, it's in the description. If you're on live, it's probably up here, but if you're watching the replay, it's going to be down in the description. But that number 1 step to manifesting is clarity. And so to me, I feel like I wasted so much time not getting clear. And so I'll go from I want this to I want this to I want this, I want this. And it's never like I want this. This is what I want, But there's been times that I have, and I'm like, oh, this is great. When I told you guys earlier that when I was younger, I used to say, I'm going to manifest a Jeep. I never manifested a Jeep. But you want to know what I did manifest? A Honda Civic. If you read the book, it's in the book too. I manifested a Honda Civic, the exact color that I wanted. When I tell you the exact color, and that was another, I'm sorry, y'all. That was another thing that was realized. Because when I got that Honda Civic, I used to have this piece that was brown, and it was brown sparkly. It was real cute. I don't know if I have it anymore. But it was real cute, brown and sparkly. And I used to be like, just out of nowhere, I was like, I want a car. I want my car to be the same color as this. The same color. That's what I used to say, right? And when I was looking, I was car shopping because I knew I wanted a new car. What happened to my other car? Was there a reason I was car shopping? I think I just wanted a new car. I had so many issues with my other car. That's what it was. I had a lot of issues with my other car. So I wanted a new car. So I was car shopping. And I just so happened to find, you know, a Honda Civic, because I was going from a Honda Civic to Honda Civic. And I was like, oh, okay, this is a nice car. When I looked online, the color of it online said it was black. So I went to go see it. It looked black. So I was like, okay, got all the little perks that I want. It had everything that I wanted. Only thing that it didn't have was it push to start. But everything else that I wanted, it had everything else that I wanted, right? So I remember, and again, this is in the book. If y'all want to read the book, I wrote this exact experience in my book. Because, I mean, it was one of my first manifestations. I love talking about my first manifestations because that's when I became clear on this is manifestation. This is amazing, right? So with my previous car, I had so many issues, y'all. I'm not going to go into detail about all the issues. If you want to know, you got to read the book. But I had so many issues with my previous car. So I stopped complaining about my issues and I started being grateful about what I had. I might have had this issue, but I said, thank God I have a roof. Thank God I can listen to music. Thank God. I had so many issues, y'all. When I tell you, I could have focused on all the issues of the car and I said, time to switch it up. Focus on gratitude. I focused on that. And that what happened is because I was no longer anchored into those low vibrating thoughts, I had space to focus on positive qualities and move on in that direction, right? The car had blockages. So when I went to go look for my new car, I was doing my research, right? My due diligence, because manifestation comes with due diligence as well. But also the things that you desire, you're going to naturally do the due diligence. It's not going to be difficult for you to do due diligence if you really want it. Like the work is not work if you really want it, right? So I went and was doing online research. Like I said, the car that I saw, it said it was black. I went into person. I saw it. It was a car that I loved and it looked black. I remember one day, it was a sunny day, and I was looking at my car. The sun was just shining so brightly on my car because it must have not been a sunny day when I went to go test drive it. The sun was shining so brightly on my car. I said, my car is not black. My car was not a black car, y'all. My car was the exact same color that I said that I wanted in my manifestation. It was a sparkly brown, but you couldn't see it unless you was tuned into it, really, because once I noticed it, it was difficult for me not to notice it again. Let me show y'all. Let me see. I don't have it anymore. I ended up getting rid of this car. But that's why I be saying, like, sometimes manifestations, you manifest stuff, you're not going to always keep it forever, you know. Well, I don't even remember what year that was. Dark brown, because it was dark brown. It was a dark brown. It had spark. It was so cute, y'all. But it looked black from a distance. And you would think that it was black, but it was actually dark brown. It was like this color. When I tell you, I didn't even realize it. You could see it looked brown in this right here. It looked very brown. I think this might have been the car. I don't know for sure. I had this car like 4 years ago. Let me see. I hope y'all can see it from here. They call it coffee metallic. But it kind of looked black. You know, you're just looking at it look black. But I was like, oh my God. And so the same way that I manifested that car was I stopped complaining about the car that I had. I started being grateful for the car that I had. Like I said, even though I had so many things to complain about, I started being grateful about the car that I had. I started focusing on getting a car. And honestly, I wasn't like even when I bought that car, I knew in my heart that I wanted a brown silver car. I mean, a brown sparkly car, like the color that I said I wanted. But I wasn't like dead set because I knew I wanted a car regardless. I need to get a car. I need to get a car, right? So I also had a picture of a Honda Civic with a sunroof on my wall. And I did a lot, honestly. I had a lot of free time too. And that's why I talk about the amount of time that you're dedicating. I had a lot of free time at this time. So I would journal and I would script and affirm it every day. So I did a lot, honestly, in regards to manifesting it. But it manifested. So, I mean, I don't really care how much work I got to do to manifest something. That's why I do a lot of mental work. Because once you do that mental work, it opens up space for you to do the actual physical work. And just like I was giving you guys all that, all those reasons why sometimes manifestation is blocked, that's what you have to do, is create that container for you to be able to do the things that you need to do with ease. That's just what it is. So the way I do it, I do a lot of affirming. I don't do a lot of vision boards, but I'm going to a vision board party next Saturday. So I'm going to do a vision board for 2026. But I haven't done a vision board in a couple of years. But I'm going to do a vision board for 2026. The last time I did a vision board, I had a color. I don't do a lot of vision boards because I think it's just because I don't do them correctly. And I think this year I'm going to do it correctly. I'm going to do it in a way that is exactly how I need to do it. I used to do vision boards in a way that was more like just, oh, this looks nice. This is pretty. This is aligned to the color I want. This seems cool. I would love this. And it really wasn't what I really wanted. Because I remember one time I put plants and stuff on a vision board. Like I wanted to be a plant mom. And I got a plant. And that plant died. And I was like, ain't nobody got time to be keeping up with a plant. I'm telling you the truth. I don't have the time to be keeping up with plants every day. Trying to water them and stuff. No, I don't know. I thought that would be cool. It wasn't that cool, you know. I said, this is too much work. Trying to keep a plant alive. I'm trying to keep myself alive. I'm trying to keep Red alive. Red, come here. Come here, baby. You don't want to come here? Let me see. You want this? No, you don't want it? You don't want it? You want this? Y'all, I'm trying to make him say hi to the camera. He don't want to come over here. Oh, look, he likes these. This is what I wipe my face with. He likes when I wipe his face with these two. So sometimes he'll climb on the vanity when I'm cleaning my face and stuff. Come here. And so sometimes I'll be trying to hide this when I'm like wiping my face. If he's staring at me, I'll be hiding it because I'll be like, I don't want to have to wipe his face all the time. I'll be like, I'm just trying to wash my face. Clean my face. But yeah, y'all. Manifestation is magic for sure. But that's all I have to talk about today, honestly, with manifestation. I just thought that was an amazing conversation. Y'all are definitely going to see just more random conversations. I think that just keeping this channel focused on hobbies and my personal interests and just having these random conversations and not, you know, last year we did a lot of structured conversations. They had a purpose, of course. They all had a purpose to manifest more knowledge, more awareness, and all those things. But I mean, as of now, currently, right now, at this moment, I just want to do more free flowing, just whatever comes to mind, whatever may be. He reincarnated. Whatever comes to mind, whatever I've been thinking about. I think that's going to be a lot more fun for me. And I won't have to stress about preparing. Well, I got planned for you know it's Sunday, John. You know I gotta prepare for the work. I gotta go to work, y'all. I gotta work tomorrow. So for me personally, that's just what it is. Those are the reasons why I've seen manifestations be blocked for me personally. And I want to continue to prepare myself for my manifestations, which I already do, but in a state of less worry, more peace, less worry, all those things is what I want to do for 2026. So I'm super happy about it, y'all. Y'all want to say anything before we get off of here today? We're about to get up off of here. And like I said, maybe we'll talk about manifesting jobs tomorrow. I know some people say don't manifest a job, manifest entrepreneurship. Thank him. But I think entrepreneurship personally for me is a journey. Is a journey. So I want more people to have security and stability. And for people who don't have that natural security and stability within themselves, y'all need to go get a job. Y'all need to go get a job. So we're going to talk about manifesting jobs, because also jobs give you experiences that you would not get if it was not for that job, you know? And a lot of times jobs prepare you for entrepreneurship. I know if it wasn't for the career that I do, there would be a lot that I would have not known, right? So maybe that's what we'll talk about tomorrow, because I actually really do enjoy that topic. I wrote a whole ebook about it too, so maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow, so you guys can have that understanding on how to manifest a job, because I manifested so many. So yeah, y'all, that's all I got for y'all today. I'm going to go. Y'all have a wonderful day. Like I said, 2026 is a year of manifestation, so things will be manifested. We're gonna have a good old time. Okay, so y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's day. Love you guys. Bye bye.